Today I'm starting a walk in Great Comberton, or Comberton, in the North Cotswolds. And there's a recently converted barn there. That's where I'm staying, the granary, over there somewhere. So I'm going to climb over Bredon Hill today. Come maybe a quarter of a mile along this track, which goes fairly level until it reaches, another maybe half a mile or so, and then it starts climbing up towards, that's Bredon Hill there. It's actually quite a long hill. It covers quite a lot of area. I think if you have to walk around it, it wouldn't be too far short of 15 miles. It covers a large area. It's fairly flat on the top. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, maybe come about, well, no more than half a mile on this walk. And you can see it's a perfect day. Not well, it's only, of course, it's only about 9:30 in the morning. And but it is actually quite chilly. It's going to warm up, of course, but at the start of this walk, the temperature, I think, was still in the 40s Fahrenheit. There's the Malvern Hills in the distance there, and you just about see the top of the Persia Abbey Tower there. And yeah, North Cotswolds. It's been some time, I think, since I was here, but of course there's these village churches are dotted everywhere, all over the countryside in this part of the world. Okay, maybe come about 3/4 of a mile, and this is a very well trodden path here. Of course, I am early. I'm probably up before most of the walkers are out. So I'll start my ascent here, I think. It goes up to just under 1,000 feet above sea level of the hill. As I say, it's about an 800-foot ascent from where I started up to the top of this hill. So it's a little bit of a, well, yeah, it's a bit of a climb for the likes of me anyway. So far gradual. To the woodland, there's on this side of Bredon Hill, there's quite a few conifers here. It looks like it might start to steepen a bit here as I go further up. This is the steep part of this walk, and luckily it's in the shade and early in the morning, otherwise it would be warm work climbing up this steep slope. This is typical of the landscape at the top of Bredon Hill. It's quite a flat top. Of course, I'm nowhere near the top yet. There's the edge of the woodland. So I continue now, going off hill, but maybe not quite as steep from here on. Okay, so this is the terrain as you're near the summit, or still a way to go, but of Bredon Hill. It's nothing too exciting. It's well, sheep and cattle country. Haven't seen any walkers yet. Ravens high up there. You about see a picture of a horse on that signpost there, Bridleway. So this is good for horse riders. Yeah, it's and of course good for the horse as well. They need exercise. Now that'll be the footpath, the Wychavon Way. I'll be taking, well, maybe about an hour from now. But this is the footpath that actually leads to the summit of Bredon Hill, with, of course, its famous viewpoint. I can't be too far from the top now. I say the summit of Bredon Hill is quite extensive and on the whole fairly flat. So, and I'll just point out here that pollution haze you can see. So there's won't be a great view from the top. You won't be able to see the Welsh hills because of that pollution haze. And of course, it's probably fairly hazy anyway. With the sign of the warm day that's coming up. Okay, down there is the little village of well, Great Bovington, where I'm staying. Don't know if I can, because of the reflection here, it's difficult to focus in on it. It's down there somewhere. And further over is the town of Perthshire with its Abbey Tower. See that the summit plateau of Bredon Hill is very extensive and largely flat, but that's of course the view. That's where, because you got it all around Bredon Hill. You've got that escarpment, that steep escarpment, and in the distance, of course, is Malvern Hills. Yeah. The Witch Haven Way. Now Bredon Hill is noted for its summit prehistoric fort, and a very extensive prehistoric fort. You can see the ditch and ramparts there. There's the summit tower over there to take the hill to just above 1,000 feet above sea level. There's another good example of a ditch and protective walls, which of course back in the good old days would have been, there'd have been a stockade, a timber stockade at the top. Okay, you can see how flat the summit plateau of Bredon Hill is. There's the Banbury Stone Tower, which I'll go over, but first I'll have a quick look at this. This is a curious feature of the Banbury Stone. It kind of basically, I think, marks the, well, that looks about the same height, or maybe slightly higher, but marks the summit. It's got one of those dials on implanted in it to point out the various landmarks. You can see the Malvern Hills, but it's not too bad really. And of course, this is this part of the Cotswolds. This is the northernmost part really of the Cotswolds. This is a big hill by the first spotted the first walkers. But the hills, of course, the Cotswolds go down for quite a distance, all the way down almost to Bristol. Banbury Stone Tower. And surprising really, there's no benches up here or information boards to give some information on this fort. There's some more defensive earthworks there. It's considerable, extends a considerable way, and of course there's Perthshire, and every couple of miles, right through the Cotswolds, from one end to the other, there's these Cotswold villages. They're all picturesque villages, basically. All well worth visiting. Okay, there's the tower. And here's a good example again of this quite impressive earthwork here. And there's a ditch. What's that, 20-30 feet maybe? Yeah, of course in its day it would have been an impressive sight. Now, which way to Elmley Castle? There's a multitude of footpaths around here. There's a picture of that ditch again, and earthwork, quite impressive. And I'll just wander around a bit. There's actually well, it looks like it's just people just walk. These are footpaths that are just over the years as people wander around the summit plateau. A day like today, there's bound to be lots of walkers. They're starting to. They may have started out not long after I, because it's a bit of a hike up to the top, an hour or so. Now, I don't want to, as long as I don't lose too much height, because I think I'm going roughly in the direction towards Elmley Castle, and this way, if I can do that, the permissive path, I can avoid repeating the walk, the part of the walk I've already come along. Permissive footpath over Bury Estate. You can see this is the summit plateau, and you can just about see the top of the Banbury Stone Tower there. Well, a quarter of a mile away, if that. Well, around about that. This is a junction of footpaths, and I'm okay. I've just consulted the map. I'll go down to this house here, and I think it's a farm, and turn left. Tarmac track to that house there, and I seem to remember in the dim distant past, over 50 years ago, I came up from that direction. I climbed Bredon Hill, and I've climbed it since, once or twice, but it's over 50 years ago. I seem to vaguely remember this point here of the walk. Now, am I allowed to go through here? Yeah, there's footpath signs there. Yeah, so there's well, looks like quite a well kept. Yeah, there's a nice tree there with a swing on it. Beech trees. Yeah, that's nice looking cottage there. Yeah, so yeah, I'm in good shape here. Quite attractive countryside to walk in. See, I'm still on the summit. See how extensive the summit plateau. There's a nice stand of beech trees there, and over there individual stands of pine trees. And of course you have the microwave tower. So I might have a break here somewhere. We can see a spot. Looking good. Here I'm on another well-trodden path here. Some walkers just went down there. I think I turn right here though. Eventually I'll go this way. I'll get to Elmley Castle. I've walked well over a mile from the Banbury Stone Tower, and there's a handy seat there. You know, just horse riders. Excellent for horse riding, and there's a handy seat there. I'll have a break. Descended down through that woodland. Looks like it's set up for horse riders. And you can see I'm still quite a way up, but of course it's much easier going downhill and more or less effortless, really. No effort at all, and if it's not too steep, that is. Continuing my ascent down to Elmley Castle, and over there is the town of Evesham. I can't see it in the viewfinder because the reflection, but it's got its own abbey tower, which was left in place by Henry VIII. The rest of the abbey was destroyed. Now, Elmley Castle, the village where I'm heading to, of course, well, there was a castle here, but very little except the earthworks. Very little remains, and it's over there somewhere. It was an impressive medieval castle at one time. I can't see any access to it from this side, but I just saw a walker a couple of 100 yards away on that side, so there's probably a path, but I may have to climb uphill again, which is a shame. Just a few yards past where I said, is there any access? No, I just saw this gate, almost hidden away, but it was there. And the castle is on the top of that hill, so it's maybe another 100 feet or so to climb, but there's a bit of stone fragment up there. So it might be worth having a look around and see what's left of it. The summit plateau of Bredon Hills, behind that woodland there, escarpment woodland, and it is very nice countryside here. And there's a nice tree there, already coming out into autumn colours, and there's that stone fragment. So there's a kind of like a trodden footpath here. So let's see where it leads. Yeah, you can see the original curtain walls probably went along with that bank there. So it was a very large castle in its day. Of course, just nothing of it remains really. Okay, that would be either the ditch or the moat, probably a ditch, and the main castle will be up on there. So I'll continue, see where this leads. Obviously lots of people have been here before exploring what remains. Well, just the earthworks, right? There's again the ditch and the rampart, and this would have been maybe a gateway into the castle. So I'll just see where these little paths lead. You can see I'm still quite high up. This would be a pretty good place for the archaeologists to come along for excavation, see if they could find any well, remains or artifacts. You can see I'm still quite a way up here, so this would have been a good position, of course, to view the surrounding countryside. I may be leaving the main area of the castle where those big trees are, because there's the moat or ditch, and so I've done kind of like a circle of the castle, but of course there might be still one or two stone fragments around, but there's nothing obvious. Okay, I'm back to the access point, and there seems to be some kind of a footpath continuing straight down there to the village, but I'll play it safe and go through this gate and onto the official footpath. There's of course a big arrow there pointing that way. So, looks like I've lost the footpath. Well, according to the map I'm pretty close to it, but that's private, no right of way up there. So that's kind of like just a farm track. So yeah, as long as I'm going downhill. I just crossed a ditch. I didn't see this path that went where that cow is grazing, so I had to cross a bit of a ditch there. So okay, no problem. Pretty well made the descent now, and I'm fairly level ground, I think, from now on. But look at the size of this. Are those turnips? Ready to feed the UK population in case of dire need, if if the worst comes to the worst with Brexit. Walkers have disappeared. They're still up on the top of Bredon Hill. But this looks like a nice footpath. This goes right to the church, I think. Elmley Castle church. Edge of the village here. And there's a hidden away pond there. Looks like I'm coming up to the churchyard. Okay, a quintessential English scene there. The English church, old English church, and the old churchyard. Yeah, there's a yew tree there. It's growing up straight and tall, which is unusual. They generally spread out a bit. That looks like a fairly ancient cross. I don't know anything about it. I'll have to look it up to see if there's any information. And there's the church there. It's in the shade. 1:30. I've been going for 4 hours. To St Mary's, an ancient church. So The Reverend David Lewis, the rest in peace, is just only 58, and the local rector. Is it open? Yep. Okay. Oh, as I'm here, I'll just have a quick look inside. Those ancient flagstones, and that's impressive there. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, passed away. That's always impressive. Look at that. That's how many centuries have they been there? Eh? Rest in peace. Effigies. Of course, there's scores and scores of these churches right through, well, the Cotswolds, and of course right through the Merry England, from one end to the other. Looks like a fairly new roof. So just a quick look, because yeah, the altar. Of course, though, the trouble is all these churches now more or less belong to a bygone age, when it was, well, more or less compulsory to the First World War. There's an ancient grave down there. Here lieth the body of William, son of William Ganderson, who ended this life. It's 26th day of October, AD 1688. I think that was the year when the Glorious Revolution took place. All right, just a brief stop. Church, and look at this in the cloudless sky. Brought full sunshine, a quintessential English scene. Elmley Castle. There's scores of villages like this in the Cotswolds, picturesque villages. Okay, I'm sitting outside the village pub here. Usual tea and a piece of cake to celebrate. I've still got a couple of miles or so to go on this walk, but yeah, got the place to myself. There was some people here when I arrived, but yeah. Okay, I had my refreshment stuff at the Queen Elizabeth pub. Established, I don't know, what's that? Oh, maybe Queen Elizabeth came here in 1575. Yeah. And go up this lane now. It's about just over 2 miles back to the lodging. Must be one of the well, if you like looking at these old-fashioned half-timbered cottages, this is the place to come. And look at that, that's a nice little thatched cottage there. Beautiful. That tree there, yellow colouring. And there's a thatched cottage that's undergoing repair. They're probably expensive to keep up. Yep, okay. Joe Thornton, Master Thatcher. No relation to Maggie, I think. That's the trade he's in. Okay, here's another one, like here. Another thatched cottage. Yeah. The old police house. There's there another one of those trees. Of course, in this warm weather, with the warm sunshine, it's actually the air temperature's not that bad, but there's nice Oh, that's an ancient oak tree there. So this is a permissive footpath. It looks quite well signposted, but it doesn't look as though it's well trodden though. There's no signs of a footpath here, but it's well signposted. It's about 2 miles back to the lodging, and it's an interesting house over there. It's got some kind of a, I don't know if it's a belfry on the top or what. I'll have to look that up and see what it's called. A better view of that house in the distance there. But it's been a lot drier here than Wales, and where I live, North Wales. This looks pretty bone dry, this field, and I'm hoping the footpath goes along here somewhere. This would be pretty muddy after wet weather, but I'll no problem, of course, at the moment. Okay, I'm back where on this well-trodden footpath, which is where the ascent route to the top, Bredon Hill. I'm glad I'm not doing it in this weather. It's warmed up quite a bit, and there's no breeze at all. It's perfectly calm. Okay, so we'll vary the footpath back and take in a church on the way back to my lodging. Farm machinery spreading manure by the look of it on the fields. Okay, this footpath is well trodden for the last half a mile or so, obviously patronised by the local dog walkers. So this is the end of the footpath. Now I've reached the lane, the tarmac lane at Great Comberton. Quick look at the outside. I won't go in, I'll just have a quick look at the outside of a Great Comberton church, if that's how you pronounce it. Great Comberton. And there's another nice cottage there. I won't go around the church, but I'll just take a picture just inside. There's David Lewis, rest in peace. He was out jogging apparently. Must have had a heart attack just quite recently. There's another shot of the church. They're made out of Cotswold, built out of Cotswold stone. Okay. Church, just there in the churchyard. And I'm glad I took this little footpath. I didn't know where it led to, but another one of these thatched cottages. Look at that. Fantastic. Yeah, a thatched cottage. They probably cost a penny or two. April cottage. There's a tame wood pigeon. If it's injured or not, I'm not sure. Now, of course, these old cottages, they all, back in the old days, before the water supply, they all had wells. And that's probably an original well there. They're two a penny, if you can pardon the expression. There's another one in there. Another one down there. Great Comberton, or Comberton. I'll have to find out how that's pronounced. Postcard. Cottages, thatched cottages. You can't get more old world English than that. Yeah, that one's called White Oaks. There's another one. Huh. Yeah. I didn't go directly back to the lodging and took this roundabout way through the village because look at this. Fantastic. Now, of course, in the old days, thatch was the cheapest material. They couldn't afford slate or tile roofs. But now, of course, they're the most expensive material, probably, because of the upkeep costs. Yeah. There's a just take one more picture of another thatch cottage. Now I'm just a few yards up this lane here, so this is the end of this walk. That one doesn't, that's an old cottage there, but it doesn't have a thatch roof, it has the tile roof, the old-fashioned tiles.